We are Croydon Youth Council
and this is our
film.
Guess how many crimes have taken place in Croydon in September this year?
200?
200.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but 300? I'm not sure.
2,000?
879 violence against a person, 34 rapes, 46 other sexual offences, 142 robberies, 135 robberies against a person, 7 robberies against a business, 231 burglaries, 163 burglary in a residential area, 68 burglaries in a non-residential area, 10 gun crimes, 243 motor vehicle crimes, 297 domestic crimes, 49 racist and religious hate crimes, 7 homophobic crimes, and 1 Islamophobic crime.
Is that a shock to anybody?
Yeah. That's just in Croydon.
Yeah, 1 month.
10 guns.
In 1 month?
Just in 1 month?
How many robberies? What do you mean just in September?
Just in
Not
September.
from January to September, just September.
Really? That is crazy.
In September 2016, there were 2,592 reported crimes in Croydon. In this project, we will analyse and evaluate the gap in relations between police and the public.
Wow.
592.
Okay. That shocks me a bit. It kind of makes me feel I'm probably right in my concerns, really. It's quite frightening when you hear the figures, the reality. Yeah, makes me quite concerned. I mean, he's a bit younger, so he's not really at an age yet where he's kind of coming out on his own. But this one, I mean, how would it make you feel coming into Croydon?
I mean, I wouldn't come here alone.
Yeah.
Like friends.
Yeah, and again, as a mum, if he says I want to go into Croydon with my friends, I'm really reluctant. I'm quite reluctant to let him go. So,
what do you think about the police? They do their job as much as they can, but they lack in certain areas where they're not really helpful in certain areas. So, that's why most of the times you're forced to take things into your own hands.
I think the police are pretty good. I've had really pleasant experiences with the police. I've never had a negative one.
They don't understand the crime that's happening in Croydon. Like what you see on the news, I just don't think they understand everything what's happening.
I just think people are just wrong and the police are trying all their best to help us.
As long as they're doing their job properly and they're not being racist and letting, then I don't care what they do, as long as they do their job.
Police in Croydon is from my experiences, I think, they try and it's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts in their efforts. That's as much as I'm going to say,
To be honest, I don't really mind them. They haven't done me no harm, but maybe others might have a negative view, but to me, I don't really care about them.
The police as a whole, they are fine. There are some things they do which obviously shouldn't be done. They stereotype some people, which only by more people getting involved with the police can it be sorted out. There's an old saying, the police are only as good as the public who back them. So you want them to change? You're the people who've got to change them, they won't change on their own. You've got to back them and change them.
So in this scene we're doing a fake attack on a woman and her child at a bus stop to reenact the personal stories that we've got. A few months ago I was at the bus stop with my daughter who's 7 and this guy was standing there and he looked very angry and suddenly he just came up to me and randomly started attacking me and he had a knife and he went for my child, so I automatically protected her and I thought we were both going to die, but then somebody came in and intervened and saved my life.
Why do you
think people get stereotyped?
Bad upbringing. It's bad upbringing because, like, you come into the world pure and innocent, and then you're not gonna stereotype unless you've been influenced by someone or something.
Police is like, institutionally, I think they're like racially like biased and stuff. Like, you'll see that minorities are frequently targeted for like stop and searches and stuff like that.
I do think people get stereotyped. Without stereotypes and labels, you can't progress in life. Yeah, if you walked into a supermarket and there wasn't a label on anything, how do you know you're going to buy a tin of Heinz baked beans? You don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I think you need to have stereotypes and labels to distinguish what is what. But the bad thing about stereotypes is when the stereotype gets used in a negative way. That's when it becomes bad. Do you get where I'm coming from? Yeah.
I think because in the area that we live in, because the crime is done by the majority, I think that's why we're getting stereotyped. I think because, you know, black people are so tarnished, and crime is very heavy around here by, you know, different people, not just black people, but, you know, police target black people, and that's why, you know, we get stereotyped. That's why they think, black guys wearing a hoodie or dressing a certain way, they're causing trouble. Automatically they think that, but it's not the case. So
people just judge people the first time they see them. They don't actually like go up to them and ask who they are. They just ultimately judge first. It's like judging a book by its cover.
I'm a Muslim, and some people may think us people are terrorists, but we're not at all. None of that. So we're actually like, I don't know how to explain it. We're good people, but people think wrong of us. And yeah.
I think people do stereotype, and I think it's because it's all based on a particular incident that's happened to them, which they don't like. You know, because if somebody has a good interaction with a police officer, it happens, you know, all day, every day, and is the majority of interactions that people have with police, I'd like to think. Do they then go and say, well, every police officer is wonderful? You know, I love the police officers, they're fantastic. Some people do, but it tends to be a negative interaction that makes people stereotype, I think.
It can be the dress, and in my generation we got exactly the same treatment if we was a mod, a rocker, if we rode a scooter or a motorbike. Actions stereotype people, and I'm not saying they're bad actions, because they're not, because that is you expressing yourself, but you have got to then make the people who you want to respect you. Does that sound wrong? That's the way I see it.
Why do you think people join gangs?
Mainly boys. I think they join gangs to feel protected, because like, if you're in a gang, you're always protected. If you're not in a gang, you have no one to fall back on. Like, you can't turn to the police because they don't take your situation seriously.
Maybe they feel alone, and like a gang is like a family to them. Or they just want to live the lifestyle.
I think boys mostly tend to join gangs more because, I don't know, I guess it makes them feel big in a sense.
I think there's a number of reasons. It might be the area that somebody lives in, it's wanting to be wanting to be part of a group. Maybe starts off as friends. I think people always want to belong to something. You know, you want to be in a group of friends, don't you? You want to have people that you go out with, and I think people just do it because mainly it's a safety mechanism for them, in that maybe they've been a victim of crime, and the way they see themselves to stop being a victim of crime is to join a gang, and that will then prevent them from becoming a further victim, whereas it's probably more likely to be the opposite to that. And I think it's just that people want a sense of belonging, and sometimes maybe it's people are pressurised into it, and you've got to be an incredibly brave individual to stand up and say, no, I don't want to be part of that gang, if everybody you know and everybody who lives near you is part of that gang. You know, that's a real brave decision for somebody to make, and we as police officers, you know, should support people that want to make that decision, and we do work quite hard with young people and those people that are gang members to try and steer them away from being part of a gang.
I think people join gangs to make people think they're cool, well, it's not cool at all. They do lots of bad stuff like drugs, alcohol. They kill people, which is completely wrong. I don't like it.
I would say maybe just lack of love at home. Just like home problems, and it just pushed them to do things that they don't really want to do, and people lying to them saying they could be part of this family, but it's just them doing stuff they don't really want to do.
I think people join gangs because of like a lack of opportunity. Like because of the recession and stuff in like 2008, the government implemented a lot of austerity measures, so they didn't fund like youth centres and stuff. They cut funding for everything, so like people just didn't feel that they had a lot of opportunity, so they felt like that was their like only option.
For young people like ourselves to go out and make money. So instead, you're going to get caught up into something that you might not want to do. And then the police again can help with that to try and get more jobs and get little other things that young people in Croydon can do. But unfortunately, it's down to us, the young people, to go and do that. You get where I'm coming from?
For company more than anything. Because if a child feels lonely, it's going to join whatever it can. And gang culture, we had gang culture when we were children. It wasn't quite so dangerous as it is now because we never carried knives. We used your hands. It's up to normal children like yourselves who would then try and educate them out of it. I'd like to see gang culture as it is today stop, obviously, but you won't stop it without work, your work. Not my age, because they won't listen to me. It's your age can stop it.
So yeah, we were like by a table tennis place, and then we were going towards this girl. I think she thought we were gonna hurt her, but there's actually an old woman behind her who we helped. And sometimes I think like people are trying to stereotype us for something we're not, and we really just want to help other people out.
How would you like to engage with the police?
I think the best way for the police to engage with younger people is probably to visit in schools and stuff, so you can have conversations with them, see what they're all about. Because like a lot of people don't really know what the police do; they just know that they deal with crimes and stuff. No one really knows the ins and outs and stuff. But yeah.
I have good relations with the police. That all stems from an old inspector who used to be in this town, Mr. Ellingham. He wouldn't stand no discrimination between anybody. And that is, again, up to you. I've got very good. The police coming up and asking my opinion. Your opinion they should be getting.
Well, we do a lot of engagement with young people, and part and parcel of me, why I've come here today, is to talk to you about how we engage and really get your opinion of how you think we should be engaging. You know, we run police cadets, we have dedicated schools officers, we have dedicated neighbourhood teams that go and speak to different levels of young people, so that can be going down to sort of like nurseries that will go to primary school. We have the officers are out on the beat, and yes, we have officers that go out, their role is to prevent and detect crime, that will get involved with young people in a set of circumstances that they wish they didn't. Young people will commit crime and they have, and they will be arrested. From the community point of view, what I'd like to do is, is the feedback from yourself that what we do is working or isn't working, and if you don't feel it's working, how do you think we should be engaging? Because I think a lot of times, young people say to us, you don't understand us, we never speak to you, the only time we ever see you is for something bad, and that's not the case. But that's, I think, is the opinion that's out there. So really my question to you would be, how do you think we should be engaging? Are you aware of the way that we're engaging, why you don't think it's working, or it is working?